everybody, and welcome to our final session of Rime of the Frostmaiden, part finale. That's what I have written down because I didn't bother looking at the real numbering. The Thaw. Today is November 14th, 2021, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards where anywhere audiocasts are made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us on that Patreon. You can also join us on Discord. The link can be found in the Twitch chat to the side or in the description of this video or audiocast down below. But let's say that you already support us on Patreon. You already support us on YouTube and Twitch and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Guess what, buddy? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks, and we also have face masks. There it is. Haha, there's my tester unit. That's right, we have face masks with the symbol of Tiamat right upon them, designed by our very own Cyberwolf 1201, where all the proceeds of which end up going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause or possibly help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So, hey Satan, who you playing today?
Hi everyone, my name is Satan. I go by she, they pronouns, and today, for the last time in the foreseeable future, I will be playing Kuori, my Goliath Eldritch Knight fighter. They also use she, they pronouns.
Oh, hi, it's me, LizMac, and tonight, for the last time, I will be playing our sweet fiend, rock gnome cleric, Lydia. We both use she, her pronouns.
And I am the indoor adventurer, he, him, and until I can find another character to use these with, I am playing as Hart, the wood elf druid. We both use he, him.
And I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. I'm your DM for tonight. I use she, her pronouns. Let's get right back into it. If I remember correctly, Hart was in the middle of trying to give a demilich a cookie.
Mm-hmm. It didn't work so well.
No, it did not. You just kind of put it in between his mandibles and it just sort of fell to the ground. This creature just sort of stares down at you with these bejeweled eyes. There's sort of a glassy shimmer that goes across those jewels as it just regards you, staring, watching.
They're really good if you want to try and eat it at all.
At just about this moment, Lydia contacts you with her mind powers. She's got
Telekinetics, baby.
Telekinetics.
Telepathy.
That's the right one, because telekinetics is the one that makes things float around. I might forget how words work a couple of times. My cat kept me up quite late last night. But yeah, Lydia contacts you using telepathy, sort of explaining the conversation that she had with Kuori. That being, they don't really trust Avarice, and they don't know what they're going to do about Valin.
I have no way of... There's no, like, callback feature on this telepathy.
Oh, well, I mean, technically there
She
is.
can read your
I can
mind.
read your mind, so you just gotta think it.
Yeah, that's not what Hart's thinking about at all. Like, you're, like, sending him this information and, like, image that you get back, because Hart doesn't think in words. Like, you just see, like, it's just basically, like, big ol' spooky skull face.
Hey, Kuori, I think we need to get back to Hart, like right now.
She's just going.
Lydia just like hooks
Made it
onto
up.
her arm as she starts going.
Kuori, you ferry Lydia back to Hart, the kobolds, and Professor Scant, arguably the most vulnerable in your party, left alone for the moment. And as you approach, you see this what appears to be a tall figure in a cloak sort of looming over Hart. But as you get closer, you realize it's not necessarily standing, it's just a floating skull with a cloak just sort of hanging limply off of it.
And we established last game because I found out badass Mrs. Santa Claus was trying to become a lich that I know about lich and demi-liches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You've rolled some pretty badass arcana checks regarding liches and such. I feel like approaching, you could definitely identify that as a demi-lich.
Yeah. Kuori like stops like maybe 20 feet away and just like, Hart? Hart's just back away slowly. I can't hear you.
I made a new friend, Kuori.
No, you did not. Please back away slowly.
And Hart just like looks up at the skull face and just like, please don't hurt me. And then he just begins steadily walking backward.
Kuori's preparing a spell just in case.
The skull just watches you as you move. And like as you start to get closer to your friends, it seems to regard the entire group of you. Likewise, those kobolds are gonna sort of scoot over and hide behind Lydia.
This is the thing that I was telling you guys about every time. And then when you looked back, it was gone. This is the thing. It doesn't eat cookies. I don't know.
It's just the skull. It's a demi-lich. Good. Kuori's just putting the mom arm around Hart and pressing him against her side.
As Hart gets closer to you guys, you see that there is a little bit of movement from behind this figure, and you watch as a couple of Nothics sort of crawl over to sort of flank it, looking nervously from it to you and back again. It seems that they don't want to get very close to you, but they are beholden to the skull.
Lydia, can you talk to that thing?
I can try.
Use your telepathy, Lydia.
Maybe it doesn't like villain or avarice either, and then it could be a friend.
Okay. Lydia will like, normally you don't see Lydia like close her eyes or think at all for her telepathy, but she like will close her eyes and just think in the direction of our lichy friend. Hello?
Give me an arcana check as you hear your own words sort of echo inside this thing's mind.
Good. Great.
Natural 19 for 26.
All right. How can I best describe this? It's as though it finds no purchase. It's as though you reached out to take hold of something that you know should be there, and your fingers clasped around nothing.
I don't think he's gonna be able, you're gonna be able to respond to me. It's like talking to air.
Okay.
This is not good. I think that we just need to, at this point, ask fight or flight.
We're going to move away slowly. I don't care. The villain said not to leave. I am leaving.
You just see sort of Lydia like grab some like rope from her pack, and she's just very quickly tying the kobolds to her so that she can walk very quickly and they stay close.
Mm-hmm. And as you are beginning to interact with this creature, Kuori is fully aware of what a demilich is and what sort of threat it poses. Um, in order for you to, as a player, to understand what kind of threat that is, I'm going to give you some meta knowledge here.
Oh, please, yes.
This thing has a CR of 18.
We've got to go so fast.
All right.
Cory's gonna put herself between the demilich and her friends and just kind of scatter them behind her so they start moving, and she's just gonna move back slowly with like a tentative spell in her hands as she moves away.
You sort of begin to scoot cautiously away from this thing. And as you do so, it just follows you with its eyes. And then as you begin to gain some distance on it, it just follows you steadily.
Oh no! I don't know. I feel like it's when like one of those city guards is just like following you because they think you're gonna steal something, and you're like, why are they following me and not
the demilich is just following us?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Do you think it's possible of rational thought that we might steal something if we can't even think things?
I don't understand. It has not attacked us. I feel like it would have attacked us if it didn't want us to be here. I mean,
DM, player knowledge, because I don't have any.
Sure thing.
Does Kuori? Would Kuori know? I know she rolled well. I don't remember the number. But about what a demilich do they still have sentience? Are they more just stuck? What is what's the deal with demiliches?
What's the deal? Well, okay. I mean, speaking from sort of a meta knowledge situation, demiliches have no languages. Okay. So they're not necessarily a person the way that an undead could be. They are whatever is left. It's the deterioration of an ancient mind that can no longer be maintained. This thing is just kind of instinct and raw power. It's a landmine.
So Kuori, is she still kind of keeping their distance, and she is
there may be some semblance of memory left in there, but as far as being able to communicate with it, that's a non-starter.
Kuori's just gonna let the group know about us. Listen, we cannot rationalize for this thing. It is a magical landmine of just instinct and raw power.
Say that we keep moving, and just be very prepared for if shit gets real bad, but it's not attacking us. I mean, Hart got close enough to feed it a cookie.
It didn't seem like it wanted to hurt me. Right. If it did, then it already would have.
Yes, but that doesn't mean it is friendly. It is not capable of friendliness or hatred. It just is.
Like a shadow of someone who used to be there.
Exactly. The demilich is a failed lich. So knowing what it takes, or the general makeup of what it takes to become a lich, this person probably wasn't that great of a person when they were alive. Or at least they were driven to such things because of everything.
Okay, 2 questions then. If we're leaving, where are we going to? And do we tell Hot Tiefling there is a demilich behind us?
I mean, she's not asking and she's not here.
She flew away before the lich showed up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So do we like heads
Nope.
up? Okay, we just start
It's
walking.
our own little secret.
Well, we have to get to Valin, right?
Yeah, we said we would wait for her, but then now this demi-lich kind of showed up.
Point of contention, DM, just because it's been a while.
Feel free to ask any questions. I will answer
Whoa.
to the best of my ability.
Where was badass Mrs. Santa Claus off to again?
Badass Mrs. Claus walked off to get you guys some corpse ash, which is
Mhm.
required for
Right.
the ritual.
Right, okay.
We could probably just kind of circle back to where we were.
Kuori, like, what are the chances that she just... We have all of the pieces that the ritual requires. What if she just bounced?
I mean, I don't see why she would be so adamant about. Well, I
That's
can
wh-
see why. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, we still don't have ash. We need ash.
So should we just go towards where we could get that, so that if she's not there, we can grab some and then go do the ritual, and then if she is there,
we're kind
6
of
away?
around where we kind of killed some other of those little purpley eye guys,
Mhm.
so we can pick up those ashes.
Yeah, okay.
They kind of turned to ash. I don't know why.
Okay. Let's do that then.
All right. You are able to navigate your way back towards the entrance of the city and find the place that you had encountered some Nothics before. And I want to say that Lydia definitely shot one of those things at least once, if not more. So there's definitely some Nothic ash lying around somewhere. As you are gathering that up, that demilich just continues to keep a respectable distance.
At least it's a respectable distance.
It is.
Sorry.
It is definitely just watching everything that you do, though. As you kneel down to pick up some Nothic ashes, you can see the Nothics around it get a little bit agitated. But the demilich does not react. If this disturbs it at all, it does not give any indication as such. Whilst you're doing this, you have moved a little bit back towards the place where you had entered the city, which was over this like gigantic ice bridge from the Caves of Hunger into this sort of crater that the city of Netheril is lying in. You can see that Avarice's entourage is like beginning to like move in earnest. There is like a good number of cultists just moving like all kinds of excavation equipment. You can see wagons, pickaxes, pitchforks. Like it's a enough of a distance away that like you can kind of like keep your head down and not be seen immediately, but there is enough of them there that you can definitely tell that they're starting to move in.
Does the demilich regard them at all, or eyes locked type deal?
It seems more interested in what's in front of it right now.
I just want to kind of test a theory
Okay.
for a second
Okay.
here. Hart.
Does it also involve the staff of bird calls?
No.
Oh.
Okay. So is the demilich like moving when we move, stopping when we stop?
Essentially, yes.
Okay. Hart,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to do me a favor. I need you to stand very, very, very still right here.
Okay.
Just trust me, I promise.
I do.
Okay. Kuori, follow my lead on this one. And Lydia starts walking with the kobolds away from Hart. Is the demilich moving or staying put? We'll walk like a minute ahead. Like
you're just okay. So like, which direction do you go? Like away from the demilich?
yeah, but like we leave Hart right there, and we start walking. Does the demilich continue walking, or does it stay in the same spot because it was keeping the same distance from us and just moving with us?
I think it kind of like looks at you go. Then it just sort of looks back at Hart.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay. Okay. Back to Hart.
Hart will approach it.
But you actually, as Hart starts moving, you see Lydia turn around and just go and start running back to her. Hart, don't you dare!
Those Nothics just scramble away like cockroaches when you turn on a light.
Yeah, Hart will he'll approach the demilich. And he'll take his staff. And he will raise it towards the demilich, and he will make a finch's chirp. See if it responds to bird noise at all.
I think it looks at the staff for a second, and then it looks back at you. And then like there's a voice that like chimes in behind you. Hold on. So who do you think this is then?
Oh God. Scouts, you can't just pop up like that.
Oh, sorry, I go quiet sometimes. I like to learn.
I don't know who this is.
Well, you said it was a demilich.
Well,
Right?
Yes.
Well, the only lich I know of in Netheril would have been Irialarthus.
But that is that the demilich is a failed lich, so it is not.
I will say, out of character, I need to clear something up. The failed lich thing is something that happened to Steven's character, but in Forgotten Realms lore, I went back and checked. In Forgotten Realms lore, a demi-lich is a lich that stopped feeding its phylactery and degraded.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
What did Professor Scant just say? So the only lich was who?
The only lich that was in Netheril was Irialarthus.
Oh God, this is Ariel Arthas.
Ooh, do you think he'll give an autograph? Oh, he doesn't have hands.
What does he want with Hart, though? It's Hart that he's following, not us.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I had Hart stay at the same spot, and then we walked away, and it looked at us, but it didn't move, which means it was reacting to Hart's movement. Thusly, just a theory that it has something to do with Hart, and that scares me very much.
Without
what if
turning around, Hart says, and you see his shoulders slump a little bit, and he says,
He might not be following me.
Oh,
Burning star. Lydia just says this out loud with like eyes wide.
Hart
And
says it
just-
at the same time.
Oh no! Wait, you switched to Burning Star. Is that what you mean?
Going to switch to Burning Star, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I switched to Chalice mode, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say that the demi-lich sort of bristles a little bit at this. Like, you know that, like, glitch effect that you talk about with the Raven Queen?
Yeah.
Where there's, like,
A graphical
like,
stutter.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's what happens with the demi-lich. It gets a little bit agitated at that, and it, like, sort of, like, it doesn't move backwards. Never moves backwards. It just sort of, like, straightens and, like, like, alert. And then, like, I think that the two of you just stare at each other.
Yep.
For a moment, and it's like when two dogs meet and, like, you feel like there's, like, this was a bad idea, these guys should not be looking at each other right now, and then nothing happens, but that energy does not it does not relax.
Burning star.
Lydia will listen in telepathically to Burning Star. And I know that in previous times it's been more of a feeling rather than words, but I think this time Lydia's going to dive deeper than surface level for the first time on Burning Star. So I believe it's a wisdom save DC 15, but I'm going to double check.
I mean,
From
it's the last
Burning
episode.
Star.
It might as well happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the first time that Lydia's like gone deeper than surface thoughts because she doesn't like
trust me, I know.
don't like invading privacy.
Hey, Lydia. You don't have to worry about the spell save DC. I'm not going to save against it.
Cool.
Come on in. Water's fine.
Don't scare her off.
How much you mean? I'm just a sweet little boy. Got antlers and stuff.
Oh my god.
I do not like this vibe I'm getting from indoor right now.
I'm just a sweet little man's.
All right, go ahead and make a wisdom save.
No, I was choosing to fail.
No, I'm not talking to you.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no, this is a pity. Oh, I have very good wisdom save. Okay. Oh no. That's a nat 1, baby. That's a literal nat 1. For a total of 9.
Okay.
My wisdom
So
is
what
so
do-
good.
So what does Lydia hear?
Specifically, she was looking for anything that could relate to liches, demi-liches, or like
Anything that Burning Star is feeling right now?
yeah.
You don't get that, I don't think, because I don't think that Burning Star has any familiarity with this lich.
Sure. What information were you looking for exactly?
Just why, like, if Burning Star had any information on why this lich or a lich would be following them, and
Okay.
like
The word follow. Not the word necessarily, but the feeling, like the intentionality of that. You are in darkness for a moment, and then suddenly you are shunted forward hundreds of miles. And you can hear the soundless roar of a very large object moving through space at a extremely rapid speed.
does it sound mechanical or more like a big rock type deal?
You feel it in your chest more than you actually hear it. It's like it's just a soundless boom of bass in your chest. This happens for less than a second when you are shunted forward once again. Just the feeling of burning, and then a bright light. You see the skull of a deer with the spider webbing antlers that move upward and turn into a forest. You hear the screams of 1,000 souls living in an ecosystem that has been wiped out. There is a moment of silence as you see a crater in the ground. It is smoking. There are a few flashes of, I want to say, Hart, then Hart's skeleton, then his nervous system. You are shunted forward once again. You get the entirety of the language of common just kind of uploaded into your mind over the course of a few weeks, but these weeks happen within seconds. And then you see a single figure alone in the snow. And as he begins to move through that snow, you realize there's no crunching, and that snow is ash. And then there is wind and a shrub. And it turns out that the shrub is not a shrub, but it is Hart's antlers as he is pulled up out of the snow by Kuori. And then you witness all of the time that your double had with Hart firsthand from Hart's perspective. You see everything that your double did to basically be you. And once again, all of this happens within a second. And then fast forward to that doppelganger melting in the streets of East Haven. This happens for a little bit longer than you would like. And then fast forward once more, you witness all of the time that you've had together personally with Hart right up until this moment. And then, boom, you're here.
And at that boom, I feel like Burning Star's head just sort of like tilts over towards you, and you just see like the meteor burning eye from one side, and then head just sort of tilts back to look at this demilich.
For about 6 seconds, Lydia's eyes rolled back into her head, and she started bleeding from the nose.
Kuori is going directly to her. I'm just holding her.
Lydia passes out. Lydia goes limp in Kuori's arms. 100%. Just like, yeah, it's gonna take a hot 30 seconds for her to come back around from that.
No, Kuori definitely cries. Like, it's very worried, which like, Lydia, come on. Just a gentle kind of tapping to the face. And just making sure she's breathing and that her heart's still beating. Kuori's freaking out.
Give me a medicine check.
My friend. 1 second, let me get rid of the seashells on the dice rolling tray. Don't ask me why. Medicine. Okay, that's definitely a +1. A 13.
She's probably gonna be okay, but she's showing signs of a concussion.
Ah, shit. Okay. Kuori probably knows how to take care of that. I personally don't. I'm gonna Google real quick.
I think that like within a few minutes, like within a few seconds, like 30 to 45 seconds, Lydia starts like, she's no longer dead weight in your arms. You can feel her sort of slowly return to consciousness and wipe the blood from under her nose.
Yeah. Kuori's kind of putting like she understands that her hand's pretty cold, but she's putting a cold hand to her forehead. And just cradling Lydia. She wakes up. You just see icy eyes looking down at you, very worried. Some tears in there.
I'm okay. I think I'm okay.
Don't move quickly. You have a concussion.
Yeah, here's the thing. I know that I've had my telepathy for a hot minute here, but I never wanted to pry into you or Hart because it seems like a very much an invasion of privacy, and I don't like doing that. But I was trying to search Burning Star's mind for some connection or reason that this lich is drawn to them, and they just let me in. I saw everything, and I don't.
Okay.
I don't know how to process any of it.
Calm down. Corey's gonna look to Burning Star. Are they still just in the staring match with the demilich?
Nose to nose hole.
Yeah. Just looking, sitting, waiting, wishing.
Capiton.
Corey just kind of holds, like, as making sure that Hart and Burning Star and the demilich are still there, just staring at each other. She's going to look to Lydia and kind of hold her face. It's like, just focus on me. Breathe. Focus on breathing, okay?
We really have time for me to focus on breathing.
Yes. Inhale. Exhale.
I'm fine.
I need you to calm down, Lydia. I know you want to get through this, but we cannot rush through this right now.
Lydia's going to close her eyes very briefly and go into sort of a contemplative state. So we did level up last session, which means that Lydia now has access to divine intervention.
Okay.
I think she's gonna just try and reach out to the Raven Queen and be like,
Mommy,
what the fuck? I need you to explain to me what is going on. Like, how do I get Burning Star out of Hart?
Okay.
Is what she's sort of like asking. And
All
if
right.
that process is gonna kill Hart, since it's death related and
well-
thusly Raven Queenie.
Explain to me how divine intervention works.
I roll a D100, and if it is 90 to 10 or 90 to 100, then it works. And if it's not, it doesn't. I can only use it once per day, I think, or like
I think
week.
it's every 7 days.
Yeah, once per week.
Okay.
It's a 10% chance that I get the exact answers I'm looking for in some way.
Okay.
I'm just gonna roll a D100.
If you roll a number equal to or lower than your cleric level, your deity intervenes.
So it's
yeah,
1 to
okay.
it's 1 to 10 I'm looking for, not 90 to 100.
Gotcha.
Cool. And I don't need motion control right now. Nope, 55. Nothing. She's busy. It was a long shot, but you know what? Lydia was just panicking, and I feel like in her panic for answers that she would genuinely reach out to the Raven Queen and be like, what the fuck? Please help.
Okay. I want to say that as you reach out to the Raven the Raven Queen, you already realize that it really has nothing to do with what your purpose here is. And that's what the Raven Queen is interested at the moment.
Right.
And she's not necessarily convinced that what you're asking for is going to get you to your goal. As you sort of inwardly reach out to your goddess, there is the sound of shouting and approaching workmen from further up the street, as it seems that Avarice's people are beginning to close in on you.
Kuori, what do we do? We go? What about Burning Star? Burning Star, are you coming with us? Is there any response?
I don't think there would be necessarily.
If we start if we start going to walk, does Burning Star move?
He's fucking dead-eyeing this lich right now. Like, you guys have to,
Kuori's-
like, literally, like, grab his hand
Yeah.
and then, like, move him away. He's not going to be paying attention otherwise.
Corey's gonna put a hand on their shoulder, and just to see if they react, and if not, they're just gonna hold Burning Star's hand and start walking away.
Yeah. Burning Star allows themselves to be led away from this.
Okay. Lydia is just sort of tending to the kobolds and avoiding eye contact with Burning Star altogether.
The demilich follows.
Of course it does.
He's my new best friend.
Bestie, I think your bestie is not your bestie.
What is your plan? Where are you going?
I think Lydia is diverting to Kuori as her brain is goo at the moment.
Oh God. Okay. We are going to. We are going to the center of this city, away from the cultist.
All right. Or just looking at divine intervention, and evidently the cooldown only triggers if it actually succeeds. So technically, you could just spam it.
You could just spam it. Just 30 texts from Lydia.
Why aren't you picking up?
Are you up? What you doing? You up?
Just look at your phone and it's text message from Lydia, Snapchat from Lydia, Facebook Messenger from Lydia, WhatsApp from Lydia.
Oh,
Kick
amazing.
from Lydia.
There's even a fucking, like, PayPal request that's, like, for 1 penny, but it's the message that you're trying to send.
All right. So where did you say you were going?
To the center.
To the center.
That's
okay.
where we have to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's where they're going.
All right. You start heading in that direction, and the demilich looms.
Okay. We'll go to
Are
that
there any words
direction.
exchanged as you head your way there?
No. Actually, Corey's gonna look to Lydia and say, "You're not doing the ritual."
No, Kuori, I'm fine. I'm
You're
worried
not
about
doing the
Hart.
ritual. You are not doing the ritual.
Look, let's just get there first, and then we can fight about it, okay?
There is no fight. You're not doing it.
We'll see. And like Lydia will just start walking away, like, and Kuori does not usually get that, no pun intended, cold shoulder from Lydia, but she's just walking.
Mhm.
I feel like
As
Burning
you-
Star's head's, like, turned back, just, like, mean mugging the lich, like, as they're walking.
I mean,
My
like
friends.
the lich is a bone man, so incapable of making any sort of expression. It just follows.
Professor Scant,
Hello.
what can you tell me about this lich when they were more lichy? Like, what are they famous for? What did they do?
Oh, well, they were the leader of Irialarthus for a time. He had 8 apprentices, and they made up the arcane Octade.
Did any of the things that he did involve space?
You mean, like, stars and planets
Mhm.
and things?
Yeah.
It's possible. I haven't read the entirety of his writings or research, just on account of the fact that we haven't been able to get a hold of it yet. But that's going to be very exciting when we do.
Right, of course. I just, they seem very interested with someone who is a part of my friend Hart. And I think that might be why the Lich is following us. And do you know when you read something that's really difficult to understand, and sometimes you need to take time to process it before you understand exactly what it is you just read? Do you ever have that feeling?
Yes.
Right. So I'm just trying to process that information, and sometimes having other information makes that a little easier, like puzzle pieces being fit together.
I see. Well, I don't know if I actually understand that. Just on account of the fact that Professor Orbs, like their knowledge, works a little bit differently. Just in the sense that, well, I'm an expert in a number of things, but I'm kind of only an expert in those things. In everything
Right.
else, you might consider me a moron.
Well, I wouldn't do that. Maybe just a beginner student in other things. But I just thought I would check to see if there was anything related to the sky or stars that this lich was particularly known for. Because maybe that's a tie to why they're so interested in Burning Star.
Well, I do know that there was an observatory in Eriolarthus. It's entirely possible that he took up stargazing as
Do
a
we know-
hobby.
What is would the observatory be in ruins here?
It's possible. A lot of things got destroyed.
I don't know. Just hey Kuori.
Yes.
Did we see anything that would be like an observatory while we were gathering things?
No, just the library. And the one with the hand. And the hags.
I don't know, just maybe there might be some information there, but I guess we've got bigger things to deal with than a demilich following Burning Star, and Burning Star being out in non-scary combat mode.
Well, maybe when we're done doing whatever we're doing right now, we can go and check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course.
Possibly. Tori's just going through her notes of like the 8 steps that have to be taken. So I think she got the notes from Berlin, and she's the one that compiles them together.
As you get closer and closer to the center of the city, where this enormous spire stands, and this cold glow at the base of it, it seems to beckon you forward, as you become pretty certain that's where the Mythalar must be, is at the base of this spire. You eventually come to a place that looks pretty prominent. It is essentially a courtyard, sort of just at the base of this spire. And when you stand under it, you can just see how absolutely immense it is, standing before you. And as you do get closer to the spire, you can see the dome that makes up the force field that bars your entry.
Is there any sign of Valin anywhere?
Make me a perception check.
Oh boy, this went so well last time. Oh, and not bad. 21.
You see some footprints in the snow. It is a woman's sized footprints. They look pretty fresh. But the most damning evidence is the kobold footprints that seem to be trailing them.
Are they going towards the force field? Or
I don't think that you can necessarily determine how long ago she was here, just that
Mhm.
she was here.
I wish my telepathy had. Oh,
It does have a range.
I know, but I wish I had a bigger range. Kuori, listen, I can send Valen a message to let her know that we're not back where we were, but in doing so, I would have to use some of my magic for the day. I'm just trying to ascertain whether or not you think that's worth it.
Kuori's going to take out her spell book and without saying anything, she is going to rip out a page and she folds it up almost origami style into a snowflake and whispers something to it and kind of just blows on it so it kind of disappears and moves throughout the city. And she's sending Valen a message that says we're no longer there. Where are you?
You're casting sending?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say that this like origami snowflake just sort of like zips through the city, almost like a ninja star. And there's a moment's silence, and then it comes whisking back at you, and it like comes directly at you, and I want to say that you like catch it. And the message is like immediately like transferred into your mind. Essentially she says, I gathered you do realize avarice is in the city. Where are you now?
Bitch, I can't respond. I have the one sending. That's it.
That's the message you get.
Yep. That's all I have.
I mean,
she'll translate the message to.
It sounds a bit irritated, and there is a level of panic to that voice.
Listen, Valen has outsmarted us before. I am doubting her intelligence to figure out that we would go to where we need to cast the ritual. She'll figure it out. And if she happens to run into avarice in the meantime and, you know, a battle ensues, that's not our fault. But, you know, so I think that we should just go so that we can get there and I can start the ritual.
You're not starting the ritual?
Kuori, I need you to protect me. I know that I have a... She'll kind of like hushedly whisper to Kuori. I have a tense relationship with Burning Star, obviously, and well, I would be lying if I said I fully trusted them to protect me if it's against whatever goal that they have. So while I'm doing this ritual, like I need you to protect Hart and Burning Star too, and me and the kobold babies.
Lydia, you rely on magic more than I do. Doing this ritual will take up most of your magic. I can still fight without my magic.
I have my gun, which, as we've proven, is very effective, but it's not effective up close and personal like your fighting is. If something happens to me, I need to know that you can get Hart out of here safely. And I don't think that I could do that if the roles were reversed. But what I can do is take care of this ritual. I know I can do it. I wouldn't be putting myself in a place of danger if I didn't know that you'd be there to protect me.
Lydia, I get that. But we don't know how much this ritual is going to take out of a person.
You've carried me out of worse.
I have.
I can't carry you. I mean this in the most respectful way possible. You are very heavy
I know.
in like in an all muscles kind of way.
If something happens to me, Lydia, there's no one that I need to go back to. You have your family, you have your brother. Hart has his brother.
You're wrong though. One, because my family is your family too now. And you have so many people that would miss you if you weren't there. You have to go back and make sure to take care of your master now that we know how to do that.
You can do that for me.
Listen, I know that a lot of the time you and I tend to depend on each other because it's a difficult situation with Hart and with Burning Star. And I can't even begin to approach that, but I love Hart with all of my heart, and I love you with all of my heart. And I care for Burning Star very much. I just don't trust their motives when something else is shiny and distracting. And by shiny and distracting, I mean undead and looming.
What's going to happen? We have to face that cult and we have to face Valin, and we don't have any more magic.
Well, I have my gun, and I have my mace, and I have my weasel. And I always have at least a little bit of magic. And I know that when I'm with you and with Hart / Burning Star, that we can do anything. Look how far we've come already. So what we need to do right now is focus on the ritual, which I can do. And I know that you can protect me if Valin decides to hop up and start trying to become a lich herself, or Avison decides to be a hot tiefling and attack me while I'm trying to complete this ritual, or Burning Star pokes the demilich the wrong way and it decides to try and eat me. I can't guarantee that I'd be able to protect you from that, but
don't give yourself enough credit. You know that, right?
I'm just a gnome with a gun.
No, you're not.
As you're speaking, there's a tremor that just kind of moves through the ground.
We gotta go. You don't have time to fight me on this, okay? Just let me do what I'm supposed to do. Protect me from them, not the ritual.
Kuori's going to stand back up.
I'm assuming if we stopped for any significant amount of time, has Burning Star just walked back up face to face with the demilich?
Oh yeah.
If you let go of his hand, yeah, he's definitely just like, zoop.
Yeah.
Sup? You want to fucking go? Throw hams? Like,
well, Burning Star has had to like go and like walk into a corner to do so, as the lich is just sort of standing in a shadow of a building.
yeah, that's fine.
For Corey's going to look at Lydia and just say, start the ritual. And then they're going to reach over to Hart and pull them towards her. And opening her book, she will take out another page and crush the page between their hands, and then as they kind of like slide their hands together, it turns into almost strings, and she starts turning them into different structures. You know, when you have that I forgot what the name
Cat's
is.
cradle.
Cat's cradle, kind of like that. And there's a shimmer that appears over them as she casts hallucinatory terrain for it to look like they're not there, and that there's a big crack and chasm about 50 to 100 feet away from the entry of this place.
All right. And as you do that, there's another tremor that moves through the ground, and it's a lot more shuddery this time. It feels as though something large is moving on the other side of the city.
That's not good. I have big fear.
Doing shadow jutsu. I can't do that myself.
Cats and
It's
No,
like
we
this.
killed indoor.
What's your spell save DC?
For hallucinatory terrain.
Yeah,
Oh.
just out of curiosity.
Against my spell save DC. 15. So I have to make an intelligence save, I believe, or is it just check?
It's just a investigation check.
Yeah, it's a check.
That'll be relevant when it's relevant.
I know. I know. I tried my best.
Okay. So Lydia is going to do the ritual.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
Let's reveal the ritual together, shall we?
that sounds like fun.
All right, well, first things first. Shield thy heart with a wand from the nether oak.
Abjuration.
Second, summon a flame in the palm of your hand.
Conjuration.
Third, a burnt palm loosens the tongue. Shed a secret about yourself for all to hear.
I don't know which one that is.
That we did not write down. Fourth, coax a secret from another.
Enchantment.
Fifth, quench the flame in thy palm with ice.
Evocation.
Sixth, hide thyself behind a mask.
Illusion.
Seventh, trace a circle with the ashes of the dead.
Necromancy.
And eighth, stand firm in thy circle of death and consume poison.
Transmutation.
You know what? That would be divination. That is the only one missing.
Divination,
Thank you, Levi.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. God, we can always count on Levi. So, Lydia stands in the center of the courtyard and begins the ritual. The first instruction is to first shield thy heart with a wand from the nether oak. What does Lydia do?
Lydia will stand there, and just before she does, she gives each one of the kobolds a little kiss on the top of the forehead.
Mm-hmm.
We have Bait and Trout with us currently.
Okay.
And then she also hands each of them little throwing knives from her pack so that they are armed.
All right.
And be careful with these, please. Do not to use on each other, only if enemies attack us.
They like look at each other and then nod feverishly at you, fervently.
And then she will just go and hug Kuori's leg. Just for a second.
Or he's gonna pick her up and just give her a big bear hug.
And
kiss
then
on the top of her head.
Lydia walks up to Burning Star, opens the palm of their hand, puts a cookie in it, and then walks to where she's doing the ritual. And using the wand, she will Lydia is assuming that these things are going to be more in the spirit of what they're asking.
All right. So you.
But I would cast through the wand, cast Spare the Dying on myself.
Okay. You.
If that would work, I don't.
You take out that wand, and you can feel the hum of magic, almost as though you had like struck a tuning fork. Though you have not made any like move to actually cast Spare the Dying yet, you can feel that humming. And as you pull out the wand and just sort of hold it out in front of you, get ready to cast that, there is a light in your periphery, and looking up, you can see that there are a pair of eyes just sort of glowing green. And for a moment, there's like that predatory, like, huh! But like you realize that it's actually a statue whose eyes have lit up.
Green should be good, right?
Sure, just continue. You got this.
Okay. Summon a flame in the palm of your hand. And so Lydia has Sacred Flame, which is normally a ranged thing, but what she'll do is she'll hold her hands apart and sort of pass the flame back and forth. Because it's a little different than burning hands.
Okay. A second pair of eyes lights up on the other side of you, as it seems that these statues are literally just appearing out of thin air. These statues look like Netherese wizards, but each one seems to be unique.
Third, a burnt palm loosens the tongue. Shed a secret about yourself for all to hear. And as you see this flame bouncing between Lydia's hands, she looks up with tears in her eyes as she looks at Kuori and what I'm assuming is the back of Burning Star's skull, as they are probably eye to eye with the Lich again. Yeah. And just says, I died that day. Lydia died that day in the snow when we got separated. I promise you I'm Lydia, but I also promise you that I am very dead.
Third statue appears.
Kuori, Burning Star's a little busy right now, so I'm going to need a secret from you, please, for this next one.
Out of everything we've faced, I am most scared about losing you and Hart.
A fourth statue appears.
Fifth, quench the flame in thy palm, your palm with ice.
As you say that, there is another shutter, much closer than before. And Kuori, you can see an entire building just begin to slide out of view. And as it descends beyond the building line, like there are a few buildings between you and this other building, it just sort of soundlessly falls. And then there is a loud crashing noise as there are reverberations through the ground. And you can feel the entire city just sort of rock in its moorings as it falls.
Lydia, I need you to hurry up.
Yeah.
Grab some snow, put it on your
Yeah,
palm.
I was just going to say I don't have any ice, so she will like slam her palms into the ice on the ground.
A fifth statue appears.
Sixth, hide thyself behind a mask And Lydia will... I'm just making sure that I actually went through and clicked prepare on this because I knew what I was going to have to do. Crap. I don't have it. Crap. Hold on. Pardon me. A little moment while Lydia digs through her bag.
Yep. As you're scrambling to finish the ritual, Kuori, you can hear the shouting of men behind you, getting closer than is comfortable.
Kuori is going to. Do we know if this has to be by one person?
Conferring with what's his nose? Professor Scant. Conferring with Professor Scant. I think that you come to the conclusion that somebody else could step in.
No, I got it, Kuori. I remembered what I was gonna do, and then you see Lydia vanish as I cast greater invisibility upon myself.
A sixth statue appears. And as Lydia disappears, there's the sound of approaching footsteps, and the blast of magic. You can hear rubble as something, as evidently like some like magic bolt of some sort is just like missing its target and hitting buildings. Around the corner comes Valin, who I'll roll one more time to see if she actually catches this. Oh yeah, okay, she figures this out. Sees past this hallucinatory terrain on account of the fact that she has been here before. And this definitely wasn't here before. She comes running in past your hallucinatory terrain and just sort of like halts where she is. It seems that she has been chased to where she is. And she hisses at you, Kuori. Of course you're here.
Where else would we be, Valin?
While this is happening, you just see a trail of ash being put in a circle by this invisible Lydia for the 7th portion.
She got to you, didn't she? You're working with her now.
Why would we be working with her?
I know what she's like. She'd say anything to get you to work with her.
Yeah, and we know that.
Do you even realize what she wants to do?
No, that's why we're not working with her!
Her devil lord is frozen in ice! The thing that you're trying to get is basically a giant sun! There is another
Drink
rumble.
the alcohol, Lydia!
There's another rumble behind you as the like you see like a piece of the building like directly behind you shear off and begin to fall.
Lydia grabs the flask from her pouch and just starts chugging.
Burning Star,
You only have to drink once.
the demilich is not reacting well to the building beginning to fall down around it. You see it turn around and begin to do that shudder again. And Lydia, as the bottle meets your lips, you are all met with an ear-piercing shriek as the demilich goes off. And I think that's where we're going to go on our break.
Oh, good. This is great. Look what happens when we drink in tunnels. You learn your lesson, maybe. But we are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice. Somebody did already during the show. Thank you, anonymous. I think you bought a shirt. Thank you. And we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. And we're back. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second half of our finale of Rime of the Frostmaiden. I would like to say, first and foremost, LB Hackemup, thank you so much for the raid. I hope that your soon-to-be heroes game, your masks game, is going well. As we were told on the break by our lovely TM, X is about to give it to us. So, Danae, take us away.
Well, when we last left off, that demilich got awfully agitated about this building beginning to fall down behind him. Valin has showed up, pursued by something, and Lydia was just about to finish the ritual, and the demilich let out a scream. Everybody give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, we're getting right into it, it.
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, hecky. This one.
26.
Holy shit, okay.
I rolled an 18.5 plus 8. I think I did the math
Constitution,
right.
17.
Yes,
Okay.
Hold on. I am going to use one of my wheel cosmic omens for this. Oh, that's very good. Okay. Also a 17.
Cool. So the bad thing does not happen to you. On a successful save, you are frightened until the end of your next turn. There is just an inhuman screech that emits from the non-existent throat of this skull, and it permeates to your bones. Valin should probably make that save too. Oh no, I hadn't considered this.
Kobolds? Do you want us to roll the kobolds?
I'm not worried about the kobolds, they're fine.
They are terrified anyways.
Valin faints. Just falls to the ground. Like, her legs crumple out from underneath her, and she falls.
I was about to bring up the Lich thing. God damn it.
Well, I mean, temporarily, not our problem right now.
Just a kobold.com.
You see a number of figures beginning to appear around the rubble of that building that just fell over.
Time to go.
Is the barrier down?
You managed to take a swig of that alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Eighth statue appears. Barrier goes.
Is there a way to shut this barrier up again?
Damn, that's a good question. But y'all are pretty intent on running in.
Yeah. Corey's gonna grab Villain.
Anybody grabbing Burning Star?
Oh yeah, Corey's grabbing Villain and Burning Star.
Why are we bringing Villain?
Because the kobolds are only gonna follow her.
No, they will follow me.
As you are arguing, the demilich lets out another screech. Not like an actual.
We're running and arguing.
Like it's like literally just doing that. Like, yeah, you ever seen like Legend of Zelda? Those like flame skulls that fly around and they just go like, yeah. It's just 100% freaking out, and you can see that. I'll even say that there's like smoke beginning to emit from its corpus.
It's what?
It's
corpus.
Corpus?
Its body.
Its head?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I realized that the word that was about to come out of my mouth was head, and I was like, what's a fancier sounding word for a demilich's?
It's noggin.
It's noggin. Yep, that's the scientific phrase.
Yep.
It's cranium.
18 CR noggin. Are you moving?
Yeah, we big leggy running. Big leggy running.
It's following us, yeah.
Is Valin coming with you?
Yeah, they said they were picking up Valin.
Kuori put Lydia on her little back thing, as grabbing Hart's hand and threw Valin over her shoulder to just big leggy run.
All right. You guys are heading for the interior of this spire. A number of things happens at once. You see some people start to like come around and like come around the wreckage of this building that just fell over. It's a number of cultists that you have seen before. They were attacking you, and as you know, Avarice has now taken over this cult. There was a coup, etc., etc. They like you start to see these guys coming around the corner, and they're like pointing at you, and then they're all like, "Forget them! Look at that!" And they're like pointing at the demilich, and they're all starting to like realize what's going on. And then you see Avarice appear around the corner, just sort of like quickly assess what's going on here. And she points in your direction and says, "Don't let them get away." And you see two gargoyles take wing behind her and start making a beeline for you. So you're running for the interior of the spire. These gargoyles are quickly gaining because of their flight speed. When suddenly a shadow falls over you, and you hear grinding metal as that golem that you saw before just like jumps down off of the spire and just absolutely like flat palmed smacks those gargoyles out of the sky and directly into the ground. And he turns around and you can see like there's this empty head where the golem's head should be, and you see like the little cowboy hat like poke up briefly, and he throws an amulet at you, Kuori. And he says, "Get this to Roberta. She'll know what to do." And then he turns around and like takes a swing at a cultist that's running at him.
Fuck yeah, Design! It puts it in her inner pocket. Food pocket.
That demilich screeches again, and you can see a number of cultists fall, and then you are within the spire. There is the sound of clamor happening out there. The kobolds are like pitter-pattering their little clawed feet after you. You find yourself in it's cathedral-esque. Like the ceilings are high. There are these vaulted arches that you've come to recognize as Netherese construction. And Professor Scant is absolutely losing his mind over what he's looking at. It appears that you can actually like see. Let's see, how can I best describe this? The path before you ends with this sort of like tall frosted glass, just like wall that like has these tall iron bars that sort of like make up multiple panels, and the path continues to your right and sort of curves to the left. So like as you come forward, you can see beyond the frosted glass there's this enormous bright light that seems to be deeper within the spire.
Big leggy run.
We're going.
You keep on running.
Oh Lord, they're coming.
You keep on running into the building, and as you run, the turn keeps on going left, and you begin to realize that like you're just running forward and slightly to the left, and that turn begins to grow tighter as you come to realize that you are running in a spiral, essentially into the center of the spire. And just before the spiral sort of like turns in on itself, on your right there is a room that sort of opens up, and like you can see that there is like desks and bookshelves, and it's all kind of in disarray. You run right past it, and Professor Scant just stops dead, and he goes, "Oh!" and like zooms in there. Excited excited Professor Orp noises.
Professor Scant! We don't have time!
But there's just, and I just wanted to.
Professor Scott, please.
After?
Kuori's gonna go in, put like however many books she can into that bag. It's like, you can read them after.
You like, so you take like a scoop of like books and scrolls and things and throw them into your bag and say, you can read after.
Yeah.
And then start running again.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be fun to look at later. Okay, you continue to run in this spiral as it goes inward. It has a very, like, imagine if... Have you guys ever seen a cross-section of a nautilus shell?
Yes, it's like
that's essentially like if you that's essentially the kind of map that you're looking at. So imagine if you were inside a nautilus shell and it was also kind of a house of mirrors.
I don't like it.
Cool.
And also kind of a cathedral. Like all of those things at once.
I love that.
I hate it.
It's very oh, I don't know. Who's the guy that did all of the artwork for Alien?
Geiger.
Yeah, it's very Geiger. Anyway, so you continue to run through this spiral, and as you do so, the clamor that's happening outside, it does not cease, but it grows more muffled. And would you slow down at all during this run, or like it's just full on sprint the entire way?
It's I would feel like at some point she would slow down to kind of catch her bearings and see where they're running into to make sure she doesn't just ran smack first into a fucking sun.
Sure thing. Yeah, as you're moving, I imagine that you eventually like come to like just sort of a swift walk. There appears to be one direction, and it is forward as it spirals ever inward. This seems to transcend space and time a little bit. Like it doesn't necessarily like the space that you're moving through doesn't feel like it makes sense. And just when you start to like worry that you're like caught in some sort of arcane trap or something like that, suddenly the wall to your left gives way to and like this spiral becomes like tighter and tighter until finally you pull a really tight left turn. It's almost 90 degrees, and then it opens up into a chamber much larger than that spiral would have been able to circumnavigate. This chamber is quite tall, and it has a cold blue light to it. Nethery structures tend to be made out of sort of black metal, and there is a soft reflection coming from the glass of the walls that surround it. And then it just sort of like the roof sort of curves inward until it abruptly gives way to a shaft that goes directly all the way up the spire, it seems. And in the center of the room, about 20 feet in diameter, is a floating, glowing ball.
How the fuck are we supposed to grab this?
How big is the ball? It's big,
20 feet in diameter.
About 20 feet in diameter.
I can fly up there, but I can't lift that.
Is there any sort of inscriptions or plaques, or any sort of instruction manual on this thing?
Oh, that's a good question. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Did the demilich follow us this whole way?
The demilich stayed outside to engage in the immediate threat.
I told you he was a friend.
Non-natural 20.
Sure. That time bomb was your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Non-natural 20.
Yes. 17 plus 3.
Holy shit. All right. Fuck. Well, what are you doing exactly?
They are investigating the room, seeing if there's any inscriptions or any sort of mechanism that control this orb.
Okay. Approaching it, it seems to be floating of its own volition. As soon as you walk in, Professor Scant, like, I assume that Professor Scant was like slowly floating after you. So like a few moments after you enter the room, Professor Scant finally like comes in after you and immediately just starts like shouting adjectives about how fantastic this looks, before he's able to like articulate enough how cool it is to be in the presence of the Ythryn Mythalar.
Would you happen to know how to downsize it and carry it, make it pocket-sized?
Oh, it can't be made pocket-sized.
Ah, shit.
But those who are attuned to it, they were able to move it around at will.
How do you attune to it?
It's a good question. As you are ruminating on this, Burning Star, she's here.
And I know where.
In it.
I think Burning Star will go up to it and just like extend, like hand raised up, and you can see that as they do, like cookie bits fall out of the hand, and they just like extend their hand out, and Burning Star will attempt to begin the attunement process.
All right. You reach out, and your hand nearly makes contact with its radiant surface, when there is a shudder that goes through the room, and everybody can feel it, like, the temperature in the room drops about, like, 10 degrees. As she's not happy to see you.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm gonna say that there's like I don't know how to describe it other than like a force push. Like there is like a concussive burst that comes from it. That's
like
sort of
skidding.
like, yeah, like just and as you like recover from that, and like Professor Scant literally just like smacks into a wall and falls down. Just tin can noise, just clang, bonk. As you're recovering from that, there's kind of a shuffling sound of earth moving on the other side of the Mythalar.
If I look around it, what do I see?
You can see earth and stone moving. This entire place is pretty much wrecked to shit, just like everything in Ythryn. But you can see like cobbles and tiles beginning to move. There is a thrust from underneath the ground. And you can see like the surface begins to sort of buckle and make way for something underneath it. And then there's like a moment of silence. And then there is another thrust as something begins to crawl its way out of the ground.
What does it look like? In the meantime, Kuori's just reaching her hand to the sun.
So, it has been several weeks since I described this thing before, and I would not fault you for forgetting about it. But there was something that appeared to be a statue when you first entered Ythryn proper. It was strange looking. It did not seem to have a face. Like, you thought maybe at the time that somebody had chiseled the face off of it, but as you lay eyes on this particular creature, you realize that it was not fashioned with a face to begin with. This thing is about 20 feet tall as it begins to pull itself up out of the ground. And its limbs are wrong. The proportions are not correct. And as you see it lift one knife-like elbow up out of the ground, that elbow is followed by a spindly forearm that looks like it's made out of twisted iron. And that forearm is followed by a fist that is equally gnarled, that is holding onto a long, thin hammer that seems to be made out of the same material as its skin. And it yanks a foot up out of the ground, and as it does so, imagine a potato.
Okay.
Go on.
Now imagine that you have sliced through it with a dull knife and haven't quite gotten through all of it. And then like take the top of that potato and kind of like pull it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this thing's torso does. And inside that torso is rows and rows of teeth.
I love this.
I can only get so aroused on stream.
It's time for some initiative.
Do you have a picture of this thing?
Kuori, you have advantage on your initiative from Vigilant Blessing from Lydia.
Okay.
As this thing lifts itself up out of the ground, the mythalar itself seems to dim, and the light becomes much bluer and colder, and just sort of like spotlights of light begin to sort of circle out of it in sort of like random arrays, and one spotlight sort of lands on the creature, and the creature just sort of turns its body towards that spotlight, seems to regard it, and then turns itself towards you guys. What was that initiative?
12 for Kuori.
Burning Star?
11.
Lydia?
12.
All right, and this thing got 19. Okay. Oh, it's been so long. How do I sort this again?
If it's on Google Sheets, it's on the very last menu that's sort by other options or other cell options.
Sort range. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Did they change that?
They did, yeah. Within like the last like 2 weeks, it's really like they just moved it to a sub option or to a sub menu.
Just specifically to mess with me.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
to fuck with us. It's fine.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this picture. Where do you want it? Rime of the Frostmaiden or
Questions
Question
for the
Courts?
Courts?
Okay, I can do that. This thing's fun.
No!
We can talk about it later.
Oh!
Let's
I
not talk
hate
about it.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to talk about how it's got like these kind of like digitigrade leggies. And its head looks kind of like an executioner's hood if the burlap of the hood was also its flesh.
I love that for them. That's not the win they think it is.
It's not.
I think that it is compelled to go after what she says. So this thing is going to move towards. Yep, I expected that. And all right, this thing is huge sized, by the way.
Of course it is.
It's going to move towards Burning Star, and as it does so, you ever see like videos of giraffes, where they kind of look like they're moving in slow motion, and then you see them like moving in like comparison to a car, and it turns out they're going like 30 miles an hour, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
They look so slow, but they are going so fast. It does that towards Burning Star, and it swings that hammer around. It's coming for you, buddy. Does a 13 probably doesn't hit you, though.
It barely misses.
All right. Okay. And then it's going to try and get you with its claws from the other hand. A dirty 20?
Yeah, that'll do her.
All right. That's going to be 14 slashing damage for you, my friend.
Anything else?
That's it.
No jazz hands? Okay, 14. I can take that. That's fine.
All right. It is Lydia's turn now.
Clarifying question, DM. So big old ball, big old round spherical thing that, ends.
Floating.
Yeah, and it's supposed to, like end the endless winter, that sort of thing. Is it emitting light?
Kind of a cold light at this point.
Would we still be considered in dim light?
Yes. I would 100% say that it's dim light.
Thank God, because
especially since you entered the room, it started to emit much less light once you entered the room.
Cool, because I can only fly in dim or no light, so I was like, oh, wait a second here. So as bonus action, you see Lydia undo her cape as usual, and the very familiar now raven wings sprout from her shoulders. As I am going to stay very close to Kuori, but just up a little bit, like 20 feet type deal. And so that's that. And then for my action, you see a soft lavender fog start to emit from the center of Lydia's clasp, and I am going to use my Twilight Sanctuary. So everyone within 30 feet, well, creatures I choose within 30 feet of me, if you end your turn within 30 feet of me, you get 1d6 plus 10 temporary hit points. I'll write it in the chat for you guys. Or you can end an effect causing charmed or frightened automatically at the end of, if you end your turn, and I will write it in the chat. 1d6 plus 10 end of turn. So and those temp hit points will keep refreshing if you stay in the light lavender and silver flecked fog.
Okay.
Well, that's my turn. I'm flying because it's getting a little foggy.
That's Lydia. Now it's Kuori with Hart on deck.
Okay. Questions. I have 2-weapon fighting. Does
Okay.
that mean as a bonus action I can hit with a weapon without the modifier in damage?
I believe that
to have an offhand weapon in order to do so. You can't use the same weapon if you're doing two-hand.
That's fine, but I would have to hit twice, or not just with an offhand weapon.
You have to declare an attack with an offhand weapon. You don't have to hit with the first attack specifically, because the offhand weapon attack is a bonus action.
Yeah. Specifically what 2-weapon fighting does for you is that it makes it so that your bonus action attack that you make with an offhand weapon, you can add your modifier to it.
Okay.
As far as damage goes. Because typically you cannot add your modifier to an offhand weapon
Yes.
attack.
I have a small knife. Would I be able to make a weapon attack as an offhand weapon with a bonus action first?
Yeah, you can do your
Okay.
actions in any order.
Okay, so I'm going to use my small knife to make an offhand attack first. I should I just use a regular dagger stats?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a +5. So that's 17 to hit.
A 17 will hit.
Okay, and that's a D4. And I don't add my strength to it, do I?
You do. If you
I
have
do.
2-weapon fighting, then you can
Yeah.
add your strength to it.
Okay, cool. Then that's 2 plus 4, so 6 points of slashing damage. Then,
Okay.
right, I'm going to use Eldritch Strike. So when I hit a creature with a weapon attack, it has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes against a spell I cast before the end of my next turn. So I'm going to use my action to. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to be like, wait, no.
No, I'm listening.
stonks. This is a
Yeah,
big
no.
brain play.
I'm listening.
And then she's going to use her wizard book to cast slow.
Okay. What sort of save does it need to do?
It is a wisdom save DC 15 with disadvantage.
Okay. You are correct. I don't think a 7's going to make it.
It is not. So Kuori again rips out another page of this book after it throws the small knife at this creature. I feel like it's like this tiny knife just stuck in its shoulder. And she holds the page between her hands and then just slides them into this oily substance. It turns into this oily substance that then she, almost as if waterbed, and she kind of moves it around midair and just throws it at this creature as they cast slow. So I will give you the what slow is if you'd like.
Yes.
So the target speed is halved. It takes a -2 penalty on AC and dexterity saving throws.
Okay.
It can't use reactions, and on its turn, it can either use an action or a bonus action, but not both.
Okay.
Regardless of the creature's abilities or magic items, it can't make more than one melee or ranged attack during its turn.
Damn.
If the creature attempts to cast a spell with a casting time of 1 action, roll a d20. On an 11 or higher, the spell does not take effect until the next turn. And it must use its action on that turn to complete the spell. So it takes 2 turns to complete a spell.
Right.
If it can't, the spell is wasted. So if it's interrupted, it's wasted. But the creature affected by the spell can make another wisdom saving throw at the end of its turn.
Cool.
I will just put this in
All
the
right.
Zoom chat.
So this is save ends, essentially. That's pretty damn good. Shit.
And with that, Kuori is gonna use her action surge to take 1 additional action on her turn, and she's gonna attack twice.
All right.
My girl. I'm so proud.
Amazing.
This is
She
the
has
biggest
been
brain
waiting
move I've
for this
ever
moment.
made in any game. I swear to God. And so she's got her weapon's gonna appear out of frost, and that it's gonna be that +2 longsword. It's let's see, she's got a 2-handed. Oh wait, no, not 2-handed because she has a shield. So 1-handed. That's gonna be 19 to hit. Does that hit?
A 19 definitely hits.
I'm trying to find a D8. 1 second. So that is 6 plus 6. That's 12 points of slashing damage from a magical weapon. And then I get an extra attack. I got 2 attacks. And that's going to be 25 to hit.
25 definitely hits.
With 11 points of slashing damage.
All right. What was the damage on the first attack? I'm sorry.
12.
12. Okay.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Okay then. So that happened.
I did it, guys.
Holy shit. All right, it's Burning Star's turn.
So Burning Star looks at this large thing that just beat into them, looks at the Mythalar. And since we are level 10, at the start of my turn, I can just shift my starry form without having to burn a wild shape. Okay. So at the start of my turn, Burning Star looks at these two things, looks up at Lydia, and then takes a wider stance, and you see what look like two large wings extend from Burning Star's back as I shift into dragon form. Taking a page from Lydia's book, guess who also has a fly speed now? And I am going to slow. They can't take reactions. Up and away, 20 feet back, because no attack of opportunity affecting me. So I go 20 feet back into the sky. And
I want to say it tries to swing at you, but it's going in slow motion, so it misses by a mile.
And then you see
I got you, boo.
Burning Star, like, arms go down with, like, in dragon form. And you see the fingers become a little bit more pointed. And you hear that kind of, like, rumbling noise that seems to come from Burning Star whenever he's in dragon form. But something different happens this time around. Burning Star normally is like a mask layer over Hart, right? You see his jaw open, and that roar extends out of Burning Star with these like jagged ass like mask layer teeth that seem to be much larger, more extended than Hart's normal teeth. The jaw goes down a little bit lower. And as they do, these stars, bright and beautiful within them, extend out of the body. And I am going to summon a draconic spirit using my 5th level spell slot. As these stars extend out, the spirit is large-sized, to put that into perspective. And so down on the ground, next to Biggin, Burning Star from their center of mass just brings forth this dragon. The thing with the dragon is, though, it does not look like the normal dragons that we have seen. There are like bits and pieces that seem to be like floating off of its scalp that are almost crystalline in nature. I'm choosing the gem dragon.
Nice.
Specifically, and I have to make a point of this, I am choosing force as the damage type, because now, while the spirit is out, Burning Star / Hart have resistance to force damage, and the damage type that the Draconic Spirit would deal is force damage.
Cool.
So
awesome.
That is that's my action, is to summon that forth. Bonus action, let me see if there's anything fun, fresh, and or sexy that I can do. The answer is no. That's fine. However, immediately going after me is the Draconic Spirit, who gets a multi-attack. Is fun. So the Dragon Spirit is going to, as part of its multi-attack, make it can make 2 rend attacks using its like celestial claws, because again, it is also made of star stuff that has been summoned. But that's a 1. It doesn't matter. As cool as it is, it's fresh. It's still new at this. Second attack from the rend, because it gets a number of attacks equal to the spell's level rounded down, which as a 5th level spell means that it gets 2 attacks. That is a 9 plus spell attack modifier for 16 to hit.
16 is going to hit only because it is slowed.
Okay, excellent. And then it is going to take a total of 12 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And then I need it to make a dexterity saving throw as my cosmic spirit dragon rears back and exhales with its breath weapon.
It gets a -2 to this because it's slowed. 8.
8. Okay, that is a fail. And it is going to be taking a total of 7 points of force damage.
Alrighty. Anything else for you, my friend?
Nah, that's it.
Okay, holy shit. Alright, so on her turn. Okay. Burning Star, make me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. That is a 7 for a total of 10, but I'm going to use my wheel from Cosmic Omen. That's a 12 in total.
Okay. Those spotlights that have begun to radiate from the Mythalar are like searching the room wildly, like a beholder's eyes, and one locks in on you, Hart, and there is just a like a flash, almost like a camera flash, and you are blinded until the start of her next turn, and then she's going to attack you with advantage because you're blind.
Yes, I also forgot I do get temp HP from Lydia.
Cool.
Just
Yeah, it's 1d6 plus 10.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, don't forget about that. Dirty 20 is going to hit.
Yes.
And a 22 is also going to hit. So
That is correct.
You're going to take 22 cold damage for the first attack and 24 cold damage for the second one.
That's fine. Yeah. I maintain concentration on the dragon spirit.
Okay. So this happens in rapid succession, is that like those spotlights find you, there is that bright light, and then that light focuses into one like stark blue beam, and it does so twice, just like pew, pew. And you feel like it's almost like an icicle has been like thrust through your corpus, but it is merely cold concentrated light. It is the creature's turn. It is slowed. And Kuori is what is next to it. So it's going
And
to...
a dragon.
And also a dragon. You know what? That's the thing. It's slowed, so it's still reacting to the first thing that hit it. So it's going to swing a hammer down at you, Kuori. Yeah, that's what it's going to use for that. Does a 19 hit you? Kuori.
I muted, sorry, it does.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Kuori, you're gonna take 16... I'll say force damage, because it can choose to do that.
Okay. That's
like,
my temp HP, baby.
the hammer smacks into you, and there is just a sort of like a dong sound, and then a concussive force that just blasts through you as it makes contact.
As it makes contact, there's a spark of just purple twilight colored like reverberation as the 16 temp HP are used up. So she's fine.
I love it. All right, Lydia, it's your turn.
Oh, we can make another wisdom saving throw at the end of
Oh,
his turn.
you're right. I forgot. It's gonna do that. Natural 20 for a 22.
That
So
saves.
it follows
So
through on
wonderful.
its swing, and like suddenly is brought back into its full speed, and seems to finally notice the dragon
That's totally
that-
fair.
circling around it. All right, Lydia, it's your turn with Kuori on deck.
Just to catch Indoor up as well, the creature is no longer slowed. It made it safe with a nat 20. So
We can refer to it as a tomb tapper.
Tomb Tapper.
Tapper.
What a
That sounds
friendly
so
name!
pleasant.
Jolly.
What a nice boy.
Seeing Hart, Burning Star summon this literal dragon. You see almost like an idea light bulb go off above Lydia's head as she's floating and looking at Burning Star. And she quickly rifles through her bag and pulls out this gem, which is worth 500 gold pieces. And just so we're clear on the monetary value of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
This is sounding very familiar.
closes her hands around it before this light silver dust starts wrapping around her faster and faster, and this, like, the color of sunset just after the sun has dropped down starts shining from behind her as you see two large wings unfurl and a all moonlight colored celestial being with a big bow appears behind Lydia as she casts summon celestial being. So this is a very, very similar situation as to what's going on. The celestial will go immediately following my turn.
I see how it is. This thing was already like outnumbered.
These babies last an hour. I'm keeping her around.
Holy shit. All right.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
They here to party.
You motherfuckers. All right.
I would like to specify that she's taking the Avenger form. And just so that you are aware, I'm trying to get the... So it has 40 hit points.
Okay.
Dearest DM.
Yes.
But yeah, same deal as our new dragon friend. Takes its turn immediately after me following the initiative and has a 2-attack multi-attack.
Okay.
So you see as this celestial being bathed in moonlight appears behind Lydia. As it takes aim with this bow towards the creature, you see sort of the moonlight shift for a moment, and instead of holding a bow, it's holding a gun.
I am thou, and thou art I.
Be not afraid.
Shit.
And it's gonna take 2 shots at the creature.
I did this to myself.
When you give a gnome a gun. Okay, hold on. Where's the attack here? Oh, shit. Fuck. 26 to hit
Definitely hits.
and 25 to hit.
Mm-hmm. Let's see some
Okay.
damage.
Cool. 10. That would be 23 points of radiant damage
Total?
total.
All right. Holy shit.
Um,
Owie.
as you just see 2 radiant bullets emerge from behind Lydia, which she is very small, and this is a size large celestial. So.
All right. This thing is eerily quiet. You like have fought large creatures in the past. They usually like have some sort of like vocal response to anything that like any sort of stimulus, like maybe getting shot with a gun. Eerily quiet up to this point, and it turns around and looks at you, Lydia, and you see its face begin to sort of vibrate the way that a drum does, and you just hear kind of a humming noise come up from it. Kuori, it's you, with Burning Star on deck.
Question, DM. How much rubble is in this place, and how big is the rubble around me?
Probably enough for you to do whatever cool thing you're about to do.
Cool. I'm gonna use my action to cast Animate Objects.
Oh!
And I'm going to use the rubble around me. So as she rips out another page of this very fast becoming small book, she tears it apart and little flicks of paper go to different objects. There's a few motes that go to this one huge rock. And she's going to use 8 of those 10 creatures that she can make to make one huge creature and 2 medium creatures, or 1 medium creature.
Okay.
Let's see. So you see this pieces of rubble kind of come to life. I kind of like to think they get little arms and legs that match their sort of like object look. So it's like these arms and legs made out of debris. One of them's huge size, and it comes lumbering over to this creature. As with her bonus action, she's going to command all of them to attack it.
Okay.
So the huge creature is gonna just lob a big ol'. Have you seen like in Breath of the Wild the rock? What's it called?
Yeah, it's like a talus or something.
Talus, a rock talus. That's what I imagine it looked like, and then the medium ones look like the baby rock talus.
Yeah. It's just like made out of netherese, concrete, and rebar.
Yeah. So it is going to hit it with 1 attack. They only have 1, and that's going to be math number 18 to hit. Yeah? No?
Yes, an 18
Okay,
hits.
I didn't
Sorry.
know if it was.
My brain stopped working for a second there. Yes, 18 hits.
Okay, this is a D12.
I had to do a hard reboot.
What is a 4 and 5? That's 9 plus 4. That's 13 points of damage. And the medium ones are also going to come and attack. The one medium one is going to come and attack, and that's going to that's going to be a 23
Yes.
to hit.
Hits, total hits.
And that's going to be 6 plus 4. That's 10 plus 2. That's another 12 points of damage.
Awesome.
So, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Make a single meta-tyrant's creature with activities. Make a slam attack with an attack bonus and bludgeoning damage determined by its size. So it's bludgeoning damage.
All right. It does not have resistance to that.
Yeah. So that's what happens. We said we're gonna summon everything.
Yeah, holy shit. All the summons are on the board, y'all.
Yeah.
Anything else for you?
That was it. Those
All right.
are her actions.
All right, it's Burning Star now.
So Burning Star is going to stay in dragon form, is going to then go... he's going to go position himself in a way where I could get the Mythalar and the Tub Thumper, or whatever his fucking name is, the Tomb Toucher. Mr. Scary Tummy.
Thumper.
Yeah, that guy.
Go on.
In a cone.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use my second 5th level spell slot to cast Cone of Cold. However, I'm going to use a meta magic point to change cold to fire. And the way that this looks is that because Burning Star has this more like almost draconic look to him, you see like a deep inhale, and rather than casting magic through their hands, this cone of cold / fire is just like a breath weapon coming from Burning Star towards the two of them.
Okay.
So I need both of them, the Mythalar and Tub Thumper, Chumbawamba, to make Constitution saving throws.
Okay. I'm gonna save you some time with the Tomb Tapper because it is immune to fire.
Well, what did your
But you said dexterity saving throw?
Constitution?
Constitution. Okay. I got a 14 for the Mythalar.
Okay, that is a fail, so it is going to be taking, that's a lot of noise, 21 points of fire damage.
Okay.
And then as a bonus action, I still can't do much of anything, but I am a little bit lower to the ground at this point, kind of like descend behind the behind my dragon spirit, and then at the end of my turn, Draconic Spirit is its go, and it is going to use its 2 claw attacks. Does a 16 hit?
A 16 does... Wait, hold on. Is
It
the 16
didn't-
against the Tomb Tapper?
It is.
Okay, it does not hit.
Okay. Second attack. That is a natural 20
Okay.
for 14 points of piercing damage, and then I need it to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. That's 15.
15. Okay, that is just enough, so it will succeed. However, my dear friend Chumbawamba is going to be taking 8 points of force damage.
Okay. All right. Has no resistance to that. All right.
Oh, and then end of my turn, I got 12 temporary HP. And then because the Draconic Spirit has its own pool of HP and is now within Lydia's friend range, it gets 11 temporary HP.
Okay. At the beginning of her turn, you are no longer blinded. And...
Oh, fuck, right, I was blind, huh?
Oh, I don't care. Don't worry about it. I got my hits in. She is going to... You can see that these lights are beginning to move about more erratically and in a more panicked fashion. It seems to be trying to like just connect with anything that it possibly can. The 2 biggest threats in the room right now are the dragon and the celestial. So I think the first one is going to attempt to blind the dragon. So I need a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. That is probably not going to be enough. That's a 9.
A 9 does not make it. It's blinded until the beginning of her turn.
Okay, it has blind sense. This is fine.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it then. She is going to attack. 8 is not going to hit the dragon, but a 15 might hit the celestial.
That is correct.
All right.
Wait, oh, actually, no, sorry, it doesn't. It just misses.
Oh, well then the celestial is just barely grazed as it just moves its head to the side, just barely as a laser just goes right past its head. All right, Tomb Tapper's turn. It looks at Lydia. There's a whoop sound that comes from its face as the skin begins to vibrate like the skin of a drum. And it's just gonna throw its hammer at you.
Yikes.
Does a 15 hit?
It does not hit.
It flies past you, and it's going to slash with a claw out at Kuori. Does a 21 hit you?
The reaction shield.
Okay.
No, it does not.
So its claw goes bouncing off of your shield, and then it like puts its other hand out. And Lydia, you just barely dodge out of the way as that hammer comes flying back towards you and lands in its hand. Okay, that's the tapper's turn. Lydia, it's your turn.
You're muted.
Thank you. All right. Seeing how Hart seems to be being, Burning Star seems to be targeted quite a bit. Lydia is going to fly to Hart and just very gingerly grab Burning Star's hand. And as Burning Star looks down, the galaxy mask layer starts to go a little bit lavender and silver as this sheen goes all over Burning Star's dragon form, as Lydia is going to cast Death Ward on Burning Star / Hart. So I don't know whether or not, because with Wild Shape, when you hit 0 hit points, you revert back to
Starry Form don't give a fuck. I got my
cool.
HP and no one else's.
Okay, cool. So just when you would hit 0, you don't and drop to 1. And if you are subjected to an effect that would kill you instantaneously without dealing damage, it is negated instead.
All right. Hell yeah. Thank you.
And then as a bonus action, Lydia just centers herself as much as she can between everybody and stays about 20 feet above the ground. That's it for my turn. Now it's our Celestial Bay. And she is going to shoot 2 more shots at our Tomb Tapper. Does a dirty 20 and a 24 hit?
Yes, they both hit.
So 20 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
From those attacks. And that is it for Argos.
It's just being peppered with radiant bolts from the divine gun of this celestial creature.
Divine gun. That's the name of my next rock bomb.
Divine firearm. Let's do some editorializing. It sounds better.
I like divine gun. I don't know about you.
Holy firearm.
Holy firearm.
Anything else for you, Lydia?
No, that's everything for both of us. Just again, using my movement to stay as centralized so that our my Twilight Sanctuary stays with all of our friends. And just as a reminder, it's at the end of every one of your turns that you get the temp HP, but it would replace the temp HP that you already have. So
you don't stack up.
You don't have to re-roll it either. So if you're chilling with like 15 temp HP and you don't want to risk going down to like 12, you just keep it.
Yeah, and like as a DM, I'll say that you can roll it, and if it's less than the temp HP that you have already, then you can just choose to keep the higher number.
Okay.
Kuori, it's your turn with the Burning Star on deck.
Julio, my little Rocky boys are gonna take their turn as my bonus action. My big Talus is going to go ahead and attack again. This one's it is non-natural 20 to hit.
Okay, definitely hits.
That's not a D12. It's not a D12. That's a D12. Okay, flip math. It's 13 plus 8. That's 21 points of, wait, no, 13 plus 4. That's 17 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And then my other baby talus is gonna attack as well. That is 19 points of damage.
Okay.
No, sorry, 19 points to hit. 19
hits.
to hit. I know words. It's definitely not just super late over here. I rolled double snake eyes, but that's still some damage. So that's 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And then Kuori is gonna take her action. Jesus Christ. And she is going to use wait. Oh, I do only get up to second level. She's gonna use magic missile. Should I use Actually, she's gonna hit with her weapons twice. That's what she's gonna do. That is going to be 26 to hit.
26 hits.
That's gonna be 13 points of slashing damage from a magical weapon. And then natural 20, baby. For a 30. And that's going to be you want me to roll twice or double up numbers?
Roll twice.
Okay. Where's my other D8? This is literally what goes on in my brain. I'm just saying it out loud. Okay.
She says what we're all thinking.
Yeah. That's gonna be the math number. That's 12 plus 7. That's 19 points of slashing damage.
Holy shit.
Do it.
Holy shit. How do you want to do this?
Okay. Shit. I didn't expect this.
You guys piled a lot of damage on this thing.
Okay. She is after. I feel like there's like. It's almost like a play, like a game between these two animated objects. Like the huge stone creature just hits it once and it flings to one side, and then the other medium-sized creature hits it again, it flings to another, and then once it kind of gets his balance back, Kuori just goes in with 2 quick strikes. The first one through the mouth in the middle of the torso, and then the second one through the head. Cutting off its executioner hood head.
As soon as life leaves its body, you see it go rigid as its body turns to stone, and it topples over and smashes on the floor. Those lights that are coming from the Mythalar go very erratic for a moment, point directly upwards, and then go completely out. And there is just a very dim light coming from this large orb.
There's still something attacking Burning Star, though, right? Or no? No, we're out of combat now?
We're out of combat.
Yep. The room goes quiet. It is filled to the brim with summons, though, and everybody is just barely lit with this kind of blue rim light.
After it only lasts for a minute, so the objects kind of like she kind of moves them back to where they were, and they kind of start falling back down into rubble.
Lydia, when her flying ends, just kind of lands gingerly on the floor and looks up at this large celestial being. Kuori, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to jinx anything here, but did that seem way too easy to you? I don't know.
I mean, we also summoned a lot of shit.
Yeah, we did.
Corey's going to. She's gonna look to Lydia and say, I don't know what your definition of easy is, but not that. She's gonna look to the orb and look to Burning Star. It's Burning Star trying to make a move towards it.
Yeah, what's up with Burning Star?
Depends. Do I still feel her presence?
She's there.
Yeah.
She's trying to hide.
Just going to attempt to attune.
All right.
Same as before.
You fly down, put a hand on it. The surface is so cold it burns. And like it's hurting the body that you're in.
That's fine.
But you can reach out to her.
I do.
She wants you to leave.
Only if she comes with. That's the entire reason why I've been here this whole time.
She can't go back. They'd never take her back.
They will. That's why I came.
There is a span of time that feels like an eternity to everyone else, but it is only a heartbeat for you. Lead the way.
We will be whole again.
She goes with you.
Yeah, celestial dragon stops. Just disappears. And the form of Burning Star dissipates from Hart. You see that there is like Eddie Brock Venom style, where it is just like mask layer separates off of your dear boy. And I'm guessing that then like the cosmic essence of Burning Star, as well as this blue lighted of the Frostmaiden in some form.
I want to say it's two twin lights that begin to sort of spin around each other very quickly. One has sort of this bright comet-like essence to it that trails this this tail off of it, and the other is just this cold, tight light. And they spin around each other in this cosmic dance. Do they return?
Yeah.
They fly upwards and out of the spire. Like looking up, you can see them just go directly into the ice of the ragged glacier above, and like those lights become more and more distant until they are gone.
Just before the lights leave like reasonable distance, I want to say like 60 feet, Burning Star feels a presence in their mind that they felt before and know it's Lydia, but instead of saying anything, Lydia just expresses the feeling of gratitude. And while you get like a hint of what the fuck, there's also an underlying like feeling of good luck as well.
On the return, It is a feeling of thanks, but the feeling of thanks that comes when your boss has asked you to come in on the weekend. And it's like, neither of you really want to be there, but like you had to be in order to get the job done.
Obligation.
Yeah. A feeling of thanks via obligation.
As this happens, Kuori goes to Hart and brings him over to Lydia. How's Hart doing?
Danae, may I?
You may.
Okay. So as you bring Hart over and you bring him over to Lydia, there is he kind of stumbles as he is walking, and he goes to lean on his staff of bird calls. But as he does, the staff leaves his hand, not because his hand has slipped, but because the staff has gone through his hand. There is a glow to him that is of a goldenish light, and he looks up at you, Kuori, with one eye kind of milked over with that wicked scar that Stag had given him, the other just wide. And he looks at you and he says, "I'm so sorry. I know that you said a while ago that if there was anything that we needed to tell each other, that we should have done it then. But you seem so mad. And I didn't want to upset you. And I just want to work in the garden, and I want to make cookies, and I want to have cakes, and I hope Rocky's doing okay, and you've taught me so much, and I don't..." And Hart continues to glow more vibrantly, this golden light, and as he continues to talk, it looks like leaves. These large golden maple leaves are just fading away from him as his clothes just sort of get saggier and saggier on his body. And he looks at you, Kuori, and says, "You've taught me so much, and I never would have made it this far without you. We never would have been able to do any of this. When the first thought comes, please know that you were everything." And he looks over towards Lydia, and Lydia, he goes to extend his hand out, and there's just this, like, it's more of like a golden wisp instead of an arm, and he goes to try and bring you into a hug, and you can see that there is the motion of a hug trying to be made, but there is no movement, there is no essence with it, and that pains him to no end. And he says, "Throughout everything that we've been through, we went under the sea, we went to the reaches of the earth, it doesn't matter. I want you all to know that you both, more than anything, you both were my..." And the last of that golden light fades, and that leaf, that final golden leaf, disappears, and you hear a clatter of a robe of many things, an Acquisitions Incorporated blanket, the staff of bird calls, some acorns, and a bag of cookies clatter to the floor.
Lydia, through tears, will just go and pick up the staff, the bag of cookies in her arms, and look to the last point where she saw that golden light. Just say, "Have a nice day." Before picking up the rest of your things and going to hold Kuori, as much as a little gnome can hold a Goliath.
Kuori's just gonna give her a big hug.
The warmth of this embrace is accentuated by true warmth. The warmth of the sun. As the Mythalar begins to glow with a golden light and follow those stars and those leaves slowly upward through the shaft.
Is the sun leaving with Hart?
Um,
Or do we still have to attune to it?
I think Hart took care of that. It rises up into the sky, and there is the sound of trickling water and something like rainfall as the Mythalar begins to burn its way up through the glacier, melting through the ice and sending a shower of warm spring rain down into the city of Ythryn. Lydia, your celestial was kind of waiting quietly in the back of the room. And she looks up at the Mythalar rising into the sky, and she gives you a look that says, "You've done your business." It's a final look. And then she looks at Kuori, and there's kind of a feeling of understanding that passes between the two of you. And she just kind of raises a finger to you and signals 1.
And what? 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year? 1 what?
1 year. And she turns around and heads for the door. And as she moves, you can see her like literally just kind of go through all of the different glass panes that make up the nautilus shape of the spiral of the spire. And she goes outside, and like there is silence from beyond the spire. I know that there's a lot to process here, but I would like to get into epilogues if we all don't mind.
Yeah. I mean, tell us
Okay.
how we got out, but other than that, epilogues would be fine.
For sure, I can tell you how you got out. On your way out, you find Avarice in a state of disarray. God, it feels like there's been a lot of bummers so far. But she is surrounded by a number of icy corpses. You come to find that whenever a cultist dies, they freeze solid. The demilich is nothing but a shattered skull at this point. Her gargoyles have suffered a similar fate, and she is like slowly turning to ice from like the ankles upward, and when you approach her, she is you can tell that she's quite injured, but as you approach, she still has enough wherewithal to quip, and she sees you coming, Kuori, and she just sort of like rolls her eyes, and says, "They all left me."
Surrounded by people who don't really care about you.
That was cold, Kuori.
It's the truth.
She kind of laughs, and you can see the ice making its way up her torso. And she says, "Just so you know, I was going to betray you."
I know.
And she just gives you a wry smile as the ice finally overtakes her head and torso.
As she smiles, Kuori just says, "Have a nice day." Keeps moving forward.
Valin Harpel seems to have escaped in the in the hustle and bustle. In the chaos, she managed to find a way out of here. You are able to make your way out through the caves of hunger. And I want to say that you are able to, through your own wits and abilities, you're able to find a way to get Hathawin and her trees back into your own forest.
Pot of awakening from Hart.
Hell yeah. God, I want to say that like we cut ahead to several days later, when you return to your home. There's Kuori, and then Lydia, and then a pot of awakening with an entire pear tree sticking up out of it. And Hathawin kind of like steps up next to you and takes your hand, and looks at you. The two of you have both begun to pick up on each other's languages, and you're slowly being able to communicate better and better as time goes on. The amulet that Dazan told you to give to Roberta, you are able to make sure that she gets a hold of it. She looks down at it briefly, and like there's kind of a moment of confusion, and then she like sort of brightens, gets out her notebook, and you can see that there is a checklist that she has written, and she says, "Receive amulet," and then she like checks it, and then she says, "Which way to Karkalak?"
She'll just point.
She just sort of like gives you a little two-fingered salute, like literally turns around and like starts walking off through the snow to Karkalak just on foot, just holding her little notebook out in front of her, ready to go, and she just heads off in that direction. There's a number of things I need to get through here. Yeah, okay. That person, that person, that person.
Before we get more than like 5 days back into the real world,
feel
I
free
have
to
some stuff.
Feel free to interject at any time that seems necessary. Go ahead.
So presumably, after a few days, I think that Lydia would insist that we head back home to Kuori's cabin, for some rest and contemplation, and I think that we would take the time to find a really, really nice tree and to just make it our spot and carve Hart and Kuori and Lydia into the tree, so that if we ever get lost, we know where to come back to.
It takes a while, but Kuori is actually going to make a small replica of the keychains that your brother made. And they're all like on this small little pedestal, and she installs it at the base of this tree. And it says Kuori, Lydia, and Hart found family.
After that night, I don't think since losing Hart that Lydia has slept anywhere but right next to Kuori. And we go to sleep and curled up. And when you wake up, there is a note on your chest and a few boxes at the end of the bed. I'm just going to read you the note, okay?
I'm gonna mute myself in case I cry.
Okay.
Oh my god.
My dearest Kuori, you have been a pillar of strength, not in the way that you would think, but with your heart and with your mind. I know that we said we had a year, but I traded that year with the Raven Queen. I traded it for one day every year. I traded it so that I will always be a part of your life and I'll never fully have to leave. I hope that you find all the happiness in the world and that you can let go of the guilt you've carried for so long. You protected our found family, and I know you'll continue that with the new family you make. Hart and I will always be with you in the rays of the sun and the cooling wind. We will be there, invisible but felt. I loved you and I love you. Until next year, Lydia. And at the end of the bed, you find a box that has Lydia's gun in it with a name tag that just says for Lucas and a letter. And then in a bigger box, it just says for the inn. And you open it and it's a beautifully carved wooden sign that says the Raven's Heart, spelled Hart, with a crest that is a deer head with antlers and a raven perched in it. And then off to the side, all of the party's gold and precious items. And as soon as you finish reading the letter, a gust of wind comes from outside, and you just see a raven sitting on that pedestal.
If you need a moment, I can do a vignette. Okay. I want to say that we see Kuori reading that note. And we're going to cut to a rocky shore. And on that rocky shore, we see tattered black sails. And waiting at the top of a gangplank, we see a halfling with blonde hair and a thank you for the raid, and a prodigiously well-fed belly, as Wesloy looks expectantly down at you, Lydia. And I imagine you're looking like trepidatiously at the water, like waiting for the familiar like what's the word, aggression from the dead that live below. And Wesloy just sort of like looks down at the water, looks at you, kind of like approaches you, and gives you a bow. And he says, "My good lady, you have nothing to fear now."
Thank you, my good sir. Happy to be aboard.
And he takes your hand and he ushers you back up the gangplank. And as he does so, you can hear the shanties and merrymaking of his crew. And he takes you up onto the boat as he has promised to be the one to ferry you back and forth from this plane and the next. And he said, "Don't worry, it'll only be a year."
1 year.
And he takes you up the gangplank. How you doing, Kuori?
Better. Kuori doesn't leave her house for a long while. Nobody really sees her. It's easily a few weeks to a month where she just goes out for supplies, and not even then she hunts. She kind of stays in her forest.
I think that people won't leave you alone. I want to say that you are brought food by the town keeper of oh my god, a million different names are running through my head right now.
Lonelywood.
Lonelywood, the town keeper of Lonelywood, brings you food. And as time goes on, the snow melts. As spring comes early this year, it should be winter right about now. But it seems that for the first time in a long time, the sun is rising high, and snowdrops have begun to push up out of the snow. The fields are beginning to fill with flowers, and it seems that nature is kind of making up for lost time. Among your visitors are Rocky and Ravison. They roll around, letting you know that basically kind of bustle into your cabin. And Rocky brings you like a huge haunch of meat. And Ravison brings along an awakened berry bush that she like promptly unawakens in your backyard, saying that you don't have enough berry bushes around. She lets you know that she'd be willing to do any spell casting for you that you might need.
She asks her, and actually Hathawin as well, if they can help her start a garden.
All right.
And around that tree that Lydia and Kuori chose. And with their help, she kind of makes this, it's almost shrine-like, though there's no religious affiliation to it, around this tree where it grows with big beautiful flowers and berries, and has these almost like a very beautiful, those like vine flower paths that lead to it. And amongst in front of the little family statue that she made, there is a headstone that has 2 antlers sticking out from it, and one that is a raven. And she has one saved up for when her time comes, and it is a book with on top of the sword. And she asked Hathawin to help her upkeep the garden and teach her. how to upkeep the garden herself, and for Ravison to feel free to come and takes to the garden and enjoy it and take whatever food she finds, any berries, any planted vegetables and fruits. She's more than welcome to take, as any other town member is also welcome to take.
Okay.
I'd like to say, hopefully, that eventually maybe there's a few little showingas that kind of stay around. One that has a little yeti fur beard and tinkles it every time it moves. Eventually she does get back to the plans for the inn, and she sets it up with the lovely sign Lydia left her. She
Okay.
gets workers. She's not there too often, but she does make sure that there's a specialized dessert menu.
At what point do you go back to your tribe?
She takes her time, but after, in between the inn and the month that it took to build up this garden, she packs up a big bag and makes her way.
Okay. I think that you approach Funlakalaga with some trepidation. But you eventually come to the dragon bones that mark the entrance to your tribe's home. And your good friend,
Talltree.
Talltree, Kapanuk Talltree, is on watch and he sees you coming. And he meets you before you can reach the door and sweeps you up in a big hug. And you are met with trepidation by the rest of the tribe, but with Talltree's help, you're able to convince them that you have found the cure.
She buys a scroll of greater restoration that she brings with her, and she can't cast it, but she'll hand it to the tribe healer.
Okay.
I think she's very afraid that she doesn't try to see her old mentor, but she hands the scroll to the healer and tells them to use it, that it will cure her of the mistake that Kuori made.
Okay. Do you stick around for very long, or?
She sticks around to make sure it works.
Okay. I want to say that you stick around for a few hours, and you are informed that the procedure went well, and that Wayani wants to see you.
There's a frown to her face and a furrow to her brow, but she nods, and there's a very hesitant, like she raises her fist to knock, and there's a pause, and there's a very hesitant knock.
Okay. The door opens, and she looks you in the eye, and I want to say that there's an understanding that is passed between the two of you, that you have both been through a lot. And she just kind of like looks at you, and gives you this weary smile. She puts a hand on your shoulder, and she says, I have a feeling you have learned more than I could ever teach you.
The lessons have been hard, but yes.
And she'll pull you into a hug and say, It is not a lesson I ever wanted you to learn.
It was a lesson that's I had to learn.
And she pulls back and just sort of like looks you in the eye and says, "You brought the spring back, didn't you?"
My family and I did. Yes.
You are welcome to stay with your tribe for as long as you wish.
She stays for the night. I'm still very hesitant around most of the people. But she lets Talltree and I have her name here, Wayani, know that if they ever find themselves in Lonelywood, they're always welcome into her house.
All right. There is a sense of melancholy as you leave your tribe, but the general sense that you get from Wayani is that you have grown farther than what she can offer you. And I think that she expresses to you that she hopes that you'll be able to use that and make the world better than she ever could, because you have far surpassed her.
She just gives her a very grateful smile and another big strong hug before she leaves.
All right.
But,
When you get home, Hathawin is eager to see you. And I want to like start moving time a little bit forward. The tavern comes together. The rest of Lydia's family visits you frequently. And Lydia's father looks at your smithing work and says that it has real promise. And particularly the magic items that you start putting together. He says that he would be able to sell these in his shop. And you wouldn't have to be the face of it at all. Like, all you would have to do is supply the goods and he'd pay you well for them.
she's very grateful for that and agrees.
Every single day, Hathawin gets better and better at common. And every single day, she uses that knowledge of common to let you know how many days are left until Lydia comes back. One day, there's a knock at the door.
She goes to answer it. I feel like she's in the middle of like cooking or something.
It's Stag. Or that's what he used to be known as. He corrects you and lets you know that his name is Glenn now.
Right.
He says that he was on his way back to the Glen. He was lingering here for a little bit longer. There was just something that made him have to stay. But he was on his way back to the Glen when he found something strange, and he really thinks that you should see it.
she'll kind of, let's say it's like stew or something she started. She'll leave it because it takes a long time to cool. Tells Hathaway to keep an eye on it. But she'll put on like a nice coat and hiking boots and just say lead the way.
Okay. He leads you out into the snow, and he talks, just sort of candidly with you about the things that he's been up to. He met an interesting person on the seashore who said that she had met you. She was a little bit taller than he's used to, but like she also talked about like dryads and how she's been spending a lot of time with the dryads since spring came early. And as he leads you along, you realize that you're going towards that tree that you and Lydia had carved together. And he says, you know how to read Hunter, right? I never learned how to read Hunter, but like I know it when I see it. And he like leads you up to the tree and he just sort of like points at these deer tracks that have like that are like in some of the snow that has been left behind. And he says, these aren't mine. And, like just sort of like clicks his little deer heels, which he still has. And he says, what does that say? And he points down into the snow. And there is a word written in common, just sort of like scratched kind of haphazardly as though with a hoof. And it says friend.
You're muted, by the way.
She reads it, and there's a moment before she forgets to translate, but she looks to him and says, it says friend. Can she follow these tracks?
Okay, give me a survival check.
Just watches the one where I fucking botch it. Okay. 14.
Okay. I think you follow these tracks. They trail off deeper into the woods. And you eventually begin to hear a sound like wooden chimes sort of clattering together. And looking around, you can see that there are chewinga just sort of like dancing through the branches of various trees. And you come to a place that you realize, oh, this is where Hart planted that acorn all that time ago, and it made an enormous tree, which wasn't going to do very well in the winter, but since spring came, it has begun to bloom with plenty of flowers and this fresh green spring growth. And you look around and you could swear you could hear a bell.
She looks around and there's like a watery smile on her face, and at the sound of the bell, there's tears in her eyes, but she kind of wipes them. And she points to the big oak tree and says, this is the tree Hart planted. It's this tree.
I think that Glenn just sort of like puts a hand on it. And whatever goes on in that weird head of his, um, like he doesn't like close his eyes, he doesn't like, like have a moment of like peace or whatever. He just sort of like stares at the bark of the tree as though he's trying to figure out like a really hard Sudoku puzzle, and he doesn't know what math is. And he turns and looks at you and says, Hart did this?
He did.
And he just sort of like looks up into the trees, and like it looks as though he's going to have like a sort of like a soft contemplative moment, and then he just bellows, like yells and like scares like birds off of trees and stuff like that, and he just says, Hart, I'm going back to the Glen. And he just puts his arms on his hips, and he looks at you and he says, I think he heard that.
I think he did. Here, and Corey's gonna pick an acorn from the tree and hand it to him and just say, plant that in the Glen.
He looks at that, he just sort of like makes a fist around it, and
Don't crush it.
Oh. Protect.
Yeah.
All right. I want to say that we like pull out from that. We see the enormous tree and the growth surrounding it. There's a montage of various characters throughout this year. I want to say that out on the lake, we see Lucas and his father having a fishing trip. And then Lucas's mother comes out with a picnic basket under her arm, and she sits down and she starts passing out sandwiches and beverages, and like they all like have a nice moment together as a family. I want to say that we see Roberta checking off thing after thing on her list, and then she pulls down some like goggles over her eyes, and you see Professor Scant float up next to her and just sort of beep excitedly at her, and then she pulls a switch and there's like electricity flying everywhere, and then there's a shadow that kind of like falls over her. And you see wearing this amulet is a Warforged who sort of picks up a very cowboy-looking wizard hat and puts it on, and smiles at her. Making sure I'm not forgetting anybody. I think I've touched on most everyone. We see Rocky sort of leading Ravison through the we see Rocky leading Ravison up a mountain, and she's meeting the family.
Oh no.
And so like there's just this enormous abominable yeti like glaring down at her, and then like Rocky just sort of like gives the yeti a dumb look and then gives her a dumb look, and the like Ravison like smiles and waves, and then the yeti like just sort of like looks down at Rocky and then just gives like an affirmative nod like, okay, I approve. Time goes on, and Hathaway, I want to say that the first snow has fallen, and Hathaway comes up to you, Kuori, and puts a blanket over your shoulders as the first chill has begun to make its way into the air. And she says, "It won't be long now."
No, we should prepare something. Nice lunch.
Salad.
We can do salad.
I'm thinking purple pear cider.
You're always thinking purple pear cider.
Oh, it's so good though.
It is. She hasn't tried it before, so she'll like it.
She just sort of beams at you. And as the two of you get ready for the first year since spring returned to Icewind Dale, Hathawin sort of muses to herself how strange it was that spring returned on the day of midwinter, dead on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Very strange.
And it's at that moment that you realize the day that Hart left, the day that spring returned, the day that you sent the Mythalar into the sky, that was your birthday. And you didn't even realize. You were so caught up in everything that was going on. And I don't know, would you be the kind of person to let Hathawin know that, like, this big special day that Lydia's coming back is also your birthday?
I feel like the topic of birthday would come up, and I feel like she would have told her like the day, but with everything that happened, like they wouldn't even realize until she said something about midwinter, and then she looks at Hathaway and just goes,
What?
"It's my birthday."
Oh my gosh! Hathawin's like me. She's dumb as shit when it comes to dates.
So am I.
So
Dry doesn't need to tell time.
she loses her mind. She this has become a much bigger affair. And she starts like deciding like all of the different people that are gonna have to be invited to this. And
Hathaway, you don't have to make a big deal out of it, okay? We should.
Are you sure?
Why don't we just keep it to family? I'll invite.
Okay, just the
I'll-
family. Got it.
Oh,
Don't worry, I've got this. Jumping
Okay.
forward to the day of, her definition of family is quite broad.
I feel like somehow she reached out to even like Glenn, and he's there for that day. Somehow she got a message across to Glenn. He's like, I don't know what a birthday is, but I'm here for it. I heard there was gonna be food.
I'm gonna say that like every single character, every guest character we've had on the show thus far is there for that day. And they don't necessarily have to be there when she arrives, but they do help you celebrate your birthday like appropriately. In fact, I want to say like Tall Tree is there, Wayani shows up, like Roberta and Dazan are here. Dazan's put on some weight, but you know, he looks good.
This is like built-in weight because he's a warhorse. He just built a beer belly.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to try this on to see how I
you
look with the dad bod.
Like, you come to realize that the warforged body that he has made is actually made out of that robot that was in Karkalok.
I'm very impressed. I feel like as you look over this birthday, somehow Hathaway has convinced her to get a little birthday hot on herself, which is really ridiculous because it looks really tiny on her.
And I want to say that by the time it's time for Lydia to come back, Hathaway, like, you know, like, gets the festivities wrapped up and
Yeah.
like, ushers everybody else out. Because she understands that this is a more like intimate thing, but she wanted to make sure you fucking
Yeah.
celebrated.
I feel like Kuori doesn't know when, she just knows the day. So the entire day she's been there and present, but she always seems to be, excuse me, hiccup, on the lookout for something. And as kind of like sundown starts, she's helping Hathaway clean up and wrapping up leftovers that she's gonna send to like people in the town and stuff like that. I feel like that's probably when Lydia shows up, was just her and Hathaway like talking and wrapping up, and she still has a little hat on.
Well, I was gonna say that right around twilight,
That sounds right.
you hear it wasn't a windy day today at all, but you hear the leaves from the tree in the back garden start to almost whistle, like when wind goes through branches really quickly. And you just hear sort of a whistling sound coming from the back garden from that tree.
I feel like Kuori's kind of talking more relaxed, and as soon as that wind hits and the whistling starts, she just stands up straight and looks towards the back, and she gives Hathaway a big smile before just making her way. It starts as like a regular walk, but it kind of turns into a sprint. She makes her way to the back of the house.
As you reach the back of the house, you see a sort of whirlwind of snow, and the snowflakes seem larger, and the closer you look at them, they're actually more like feathers, before they all fall away, and you see Lydia just exactly the same as the day that she left, and a big smile on her face as she runs and jumps up into your arms and hugs you.
She just hugs her really, really tightly. Maybe a little too tightly, but you're dead, so you're not gonna die from it.
I can still feel things. Can I? Oh, never mind.
I'm making up for a year's worth of hugs. Shut up.
I told you wouldn't be alone. And Lydia will like slide down from her arms and like hold Kuori's hand and just look up at her and say, "Come on, let's go have a nice day," as they walk back into the house.
Okay. I want to say that we pull back the camera and we see like all these beloved characters on their way home. We see the enormous forest and the tree that Hart planted sticking up above the tree line. We see a hill and silhouetted against the rising moon. We see an enormous, gorgeous stag with a number of items hanging from its antlers. And it sort of like turns towards the camera, and we go up, 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 and we just see an enormous swath of stars. And just sort of prominently in an array of one of those like constellations of stars, we see a bright white star with a tail coming off of it, and a tight little blue one sitting very close together. And that's where we're going to end.
Thank you so much for running this game! Oh my goodness! Guys, I know we went on a little bit long for all y'all at home. However, thank you so much for running this game. Thank everybody for coming by to join us for this fantastic time. I had an absolute blast. this was an amazing game. Again, Danae, thank you so much for running this. I love having you on the channel, obviously. Where can we find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com or at Danae Keener on Twitter. I think that's all I'm going to say. Love you guys.
Hi everyone. My name is Satan or LizMac on Twitter. I do a lot of stuff. You can find it on my Twitter. I'll see you guys next time. Have a nice day.
Hi everybody, it's me, LizMac. I love all of y'all and everyone in chat. If you're curious as to see what I'm up to, you can go to my link tree. It's liz.mac. I've got lots of exciting stuff, but nothing as good as playing with you guys every Sunday. So, love y'all.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer. And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey buddy, what's up? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Hope you feel loved. We do shows like this every week at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows on Mondays and Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, go check out our YouTube, youtube.com/Indoor Adventures. It's a fantastic time. If you joined us for this session, man, there's a backlog. There's a pretty fierce backlog for you to go check up on. It's pretty good, I would say. Unbiased opinion, incredible game. Best Rime in the Frostmaiden game that you'll find. Again, unbiased opinion. Unbiased, but we're the best here. So you should go check that out. We're also available anywhere audiocasts are made available for free. But speaking of things that are being made available for free, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself, Danae, Satan, or Liz, feel free to join us on our Discord, post them in the Twitch chat to the side, and we will do our best to respond in kind. But with that, I would like to say once again, Danae, thank you so much for running this game. Satan, Liz, thank you so much to agree upon playing a 36-week-long campaign. Loved having you all here. This was incredible. And for everybody who decided to stop by, thank you, because we couldn't do shows like this without contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. And have a great day.